Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is December 6, 2021, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Bitcoin nosedives and tumbles down. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. But first, looking at the major economic events of the day. At 1:30 South African time out of Great Britain, we have an MPC Mr. Ben Broadbent will be speaking. So that's an important event, discussing inflation, discussing future monetary policy as well. So that's an important event. Now looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, they're pretty much trading sideways, okay, with low volume. In terms of the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both get a bounce. In terms of commodities, really unchanged. And as we look at the stocks, they're looking for a bounce. Microsoft and Apple being the only two strong stocks on the board. And lastly, Bitcoin tumbling, as we mentioned. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trade. So here we go. We're going to start out with the Euro USD at 4-hour chart. 112.92 is where we're at right now after we got this nice bounce, capitulating at this 113.60-ish level last week. So, I mean, we're right smack in the middle, okay? If that's our lowest end and that's our top end, we're right there in the middle. So really nothing doing here. It's pretty much flat. However, looking at the GBP, it's a little bit different. We got a little bit of a bounce here. And if we look at a daily, or rather a weekly, let's take a look at it. That's really where we're looking to bounce off of. This is a support area, and this is something that's important for us to consider if this does bounce above it. Now looking at the Aussie USD, also getting that bounce finally, and this is a weekly chart, so this is a multi-time frame chart, and that's really important because we may go into the end of the year rallying. And we're in December 6th today, and we have about another 3 weeks of trading, so this can rally into the end of the year. I'd like to see that as well. Now looking at commodities, really not doing much. I mean, look at gold. Gold's been unchanged for the past, I would say, 7 days, and just trading between 1770 and 1780. You do want to keep an eye out for a breakout in either direction, but for right now it's pretty much flat. Looking at oil, also consolidating here at $65, does have a resistance-ish area. It's this upper 68-ish area. So if it does break above it, we may see a decent bounce there. Now looking at the big board, okay, we're right now looking at the Dow Jones. It's getting a little bit of a perk, and it's breaking that upper limit of this moving average of the 30-day and the 8-day moving average. If you look at a daily, it's right there at the 8-day moving average. So that's really, and it does have 50% to really reclaim itself. So if we do get a bounce, 35,100 is your next real resistance-ish area, and then if it does break above that, 35,438 is the next one. So keep that in mind if that does break above it. Now looking at the NASDAQ, also looking to break above it today. Now I think that stocks do want to take off, so keep that in mind. The markets are still closed in the U.S. and they only open up at 4:30, so you know you do have that time difference to work towards you. Now the only two stocks that were up last Friday is Apple, getting that bounce after really that debacle, but it does look like it's getting a bottom here. Okay, right here it does look like it's getting that 158-ish level. It does look like it's a bottom for now. We may be trading sideways. We might not, go back to our highs, but if for right now it is trading sideways. Now the other one that got a bounce was Microsoft at 317 up to 322. If you look at a 4-hour chart, I mean it again, it's at a support level. 315 was a support level, so it does seem normal for it to bounce here, but for us to get momentum on the upside, and we could, because it did sell off about considerably, okay, from 25 points. So you do expect like a 15-point bounce from that. Okay, it's usually a 15-point bounce, so I would say we'd bounce somewhere to the 3.3-ish area, so keep that in mind. But everything else was weak. If we look at Facebook, weak, okay, and on support area, so you might get a short squeeze here for Facebook and get, it's actually, the funny thing is that when the market sells off like this, it's the ones that are the weakest that get the biggest bounce because so many people are short and they get that short squeeze on the upside. Now looking at Amazon, also showing some weakness there. But lastly, looking at Bitcoin, look at that nosedive, finally breaking out of that range. But we're on that lower range at 47,976. Okay, so we may get a bounce here. So something to consider going into today's trading. So, we're in the second week of December. We had non-farm payroll last Friday. So clearing the way for any major kind of news, at least for the short term. So generally speaking, we like to rally into the end of the year. So let's see if we get it. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.